Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan. Excited to dive into this sample of the Raconteur Rye. This is the Miz Kiss batch 3. I believe it was Welsh sent this in. Thanks, brother. Appreciate that. I gotta apologize. I came back from vacation. Super excited. I know we had like slow uploads because I was gone, and then the week before vacation, I was trying to do work for 2 weeks for my main channel. So the uploads were slow then. I came home from vacation. I was like, yes, I planned out 6 videos. I was all ready to go. And then apparently I found out that I had brought Influenza A home with me from the cruise and had a week long of fevers and coughing fits. So it's kind of hard to do whiskey stuff during that time. Anyways, feeling much better now. Not perfect, but much better. Almost, I think, a day or two, and I'll be like, it's just like my voice is a little scratchy from all the, days of coughing and whatnot. Anyways, excited to dive into the Raconteur Rye. This is finished in Mizunara oak cask, which is where the Miz Kiss comes from. So, a few things we got. I'm going to pour this real quick, and then I'll chat a bit about the whiskey itself and what you need to know about it. Alrighty. Miz Kiss from Raconteur. So the word Raconteur, what does that mean? Raconteur, if you're not familiar with that word, it means someone who's like a really good storyteller, right? They tell stories in a very charismatic way. When I hear the word Raconteur, I think of the character Wit from Brandon Sanderson's The Stormlight Archive series. So if you're a reader, that might ring some bells for you. But that's what a Raconteur is. Now, the Raconteur Rye, batches 1 and 2, I believe, are both Indiana. This time, it's they don't disclose who the distiller is, but they do say that it's a Bardstown, Kentucky distillery. It's a 95.5 rye, which leads most people to assume this is probably Bardstown Bourbon Company rye. Okay, probably. Not a guarantee, obviously, but most likely this is the case. The MSRP for this bottle is $130, and it comes in at 118.2 proof. Okay, so that's what you need to know. 95.5, 8 years old, by the way. Initial aging is 8 years old, and then finished in Mizunara oak. Mizunara oak, Quercus mongolica, okay, comes from usually Japan, and it is known to carry scents and flavors of things like spice and sandalwood, which I think work really well with rye as a rye profile, especially a rye that's had some time to mellow out, that isn't just all spice and peppermint up front like 95.5 tends to be, but this is mellowed out over 8 years in the oak. So probably going to be a nice pairing, I would assume. And I've seen some pretty rave reviews about this bottle so far. But $130 is pretty pricey, especially for an 8-year-old product. That being said, I'm keeping an open mind, and there's a pretty good chance this is going to be, I think, just because of the finishing process on it, pretty impressive pour. Let's get right in on the nose. The very first thing I get is those, I think of those circus peanut candies. I don't know if you ever, those aren't really all that popular anymore, but when I was growing up, my dad was in charge of the lab of a local hospital. I grew up with the parking garage of the hospital in my backyard. I kid you not, my backyard went up against this giant concrete wall. So we had nice grass and then a giant concrete wall. So I'd go out there and I'd hit a tennis ball against it, throw a ball against it and catch it, all that kind of stuff. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But I would oftentimes, since it was like less than a block, I just walked around the parking garage and into the side entrance to the hospital, and I'd go into the gift shop there, and they had a ton of candy in the hospital gift shop. And so I'd ask my mom for $1 or something. I'd walk over there. This was back when $1 could actually get you multiple pieces of candy. Different times. But anyways, all this to say, I would grab those circus peanut candies every now and then because I thought they were really good. This reminds me of that on the nose. There's also a little bit of that like powdery pink bubble gum, you know what I'm saying? Like if you open up a fresh pack of bubble yum or something like that, or bazooka, right? Bazooka kind of reminds me of that on the nose. But there is definitely that hallmark, kind of like that spearminty quality as well. Although it is a little bit more tamed down, and you get a little bit some of that yellow fruits in there as well. Pretty appealing nose. As far as the Mizunara's influence, I wouldn't say that I get a lot of like baking spices or anything like that, but I do kind of get that sandalwood vibe. And currently I have a body wash that is sandalwood, so it's kind of on the forefront of my mind, which maybe I'm reading into that, I don't know. But I kind of get that, almost like you ever walk into a Tommy Bahama? You know what I'm saying? You get that kind of a smell. It's a pretty nice nose. Well, let's try it, see if it's any good. Cheers. I will say one thing that is like it's a trend right now with a lot of these distilleries and NDPs that are finishing whiskey in like special oak. A lot of times what they're doing is they're proofing the whiskey down, usually between that like 90 and 100 range, so that the wood from the finish can really shine through. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but a lot of them leave me wanting just a little bit more body to the whiskey itself. This does not have that problem. At that 118.2 proof point, it carries plenty of the body of the whiskey itself from getting those rich yellow fruits where if you dilute it down too much, these more matured ryes, you tend to lose some of that fruitiness, and I don't want to. This keeps that, and that, I'd say the other thing that really is prevalent from the nose that stays consistent through the sip is that bubblegum kind of a note as well. So the yellow fruit, bubblegum, definitely there on the palate, gives it some base as well. And it's got plenty of that spice. You know, it's got that rye kick that you do tend to like. At least I tend to like. And I'm assuming this is the influence of the Mizunara, but I'm getting this like almost like a potpourri. This is what it makes me think of on the palate. Not that you eat potpourri, you'd probably be pretty disappointed if you saw a bowl of potpourri and started munching on it. But it's that really aromatic kind of a spice quality that's going on right in the mid palate here. And I think that's probably from the Mizunara, because that's not really a 95.5 rye quality. The only other note that I would offer here is that I feel like I get a little bit of a honey quality. And it's also kind of the mouthfeel as well as the flavor itself. I get that sort of sweet honey flavor, but I also get this sticky kind of a quality on the mouthfeel, which is a nice surprise for a rye. So I just went in for sip number 3. And as I'm sitting with the finish, a new sort of thing is coming forward here. It's making me think of coffee, like ground coffee, that bitter latte sort of a note. All in all, I like that. That's a really nice and complex rye, but not overly complex where you're just kind of losing yourself and it loses any sense of identity. It has a good complexity to it. All things that are pairing well with each other. The only thing that's a bit of a challenge to get over is that $130 price point, and that's if you're getting it at MSRP. And if you're ordering about it, obviously you're going to pay shipping on top of that as well. So you could be looking at $150 to get your hands, actually get this bottle on your shelf, just depending on how you buy it. Yeah, I think if I were to give this a score per my scale without the price being a factor, it'd probably be like an 8.4 for me. It's really good. I like this a lot. The only thing for me that is a hurdle is that price point, which I think might bump my score back down to like an 8, like a flat 8. The whiskey itself, very delicious, and I like it a lot. But I am finding it a little bit more difficult to spend, you know, well over $100 anymore on bottles, because there's just so many of them out there. Like, now there are, I mean, you go to the store, you go to the liquor store, and there is a whole shelf of $120 and up whiskeys to choose from these days. And so it is getting more and more difficult to pick one, just one, off that shelf and justify the purpose or the purchase, you know what I'm saying? Especially since, I mean, a lot of us are now like even thinking well in advance, like months in advance, like, okay, well, I'm going to save some of my whiskey budget because I know that this bottle is coming. You know what I mean? But either way, I would not be at all disappointed to have this on my shelf. I think this is delicious. It drinks great. I enjoy it quite a bit. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that one. Thanks again, Welsh, for sharing. Appreciate it, brother. Hey, thank you so much for watching the video today. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you enjoyed it, would you let me know by leaving a like on the video, as that's the best free way to support the content right here on YouTube. And consider joining our Discord group, which is totally free to do. Come in, introduce yourself, say hello. If you feel like, hey, you kind of vibe with these people, you can always stick around and join the Patreon group. The base tier is just $1 a month, and very easy to just get involved there as well. So thank you so much. Cheers, my friends. May you live richly and get better with age, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.